Welcome back, everybody, to the Tactical Doghouse. I'm Eve, you're you, and here we are in the doghouse again with another gun review. This time we are looking at the Walther PDP Pro ACRO. That's right, the PDP Pro ACRO. Let's talk a little bit about the pedigree of the PDP series with Walther Arms. Of course, German-made manufactured gun. Walther has a huge presence now in North America. They have been known, of course, for a long, long time for their hammer-fired pistols. The PDP series demonstrates their turn away from that and getting with the modern century now, going with a striker-fired polymer lower handgun. The PDP series in general is the flagship product of Walther Arms now. This particular model is currently only available to law enforcement officers or law enforcement agencies. Do I agree with that? No. You have the right, I think, to purchase whatever firearm you want. But the reason I'm bringing this to you today is, number one, I disagree with that. Number two, these guns will eventually end up on the public market once agencies get tired of them and go on to something else, or wear them out and go on to something else. This gun has a pretty interesting secret along with other full-size PDPs that we're going to look at in depth today. Let's just take a look at the features working from top to bottom of this gun. Obviously, the most prominent thing about it is that ACRO sight by Aimpoint. That was actually the industry's first closed emitter optic. It's known for being super tough, has an excellent reputation. I've been using this gun now for, I think, going on 6 months, 8 months, something like that. I need to look at my records. Has it been a great experience? Mostly. We'll talk about that in depth in a moment. The different thing about this model as compared to other PDPs is that is a direct mount from the factory. There is no plate involved in mounting that. It is a secure direct mount, and I can tell you this thing has stayed secure through a lot of use, not only on the range, but also rough treatment, riding around every day with myself as an armed courier, which is that, and being a guard instructor are the reasons that I've been able to have this PDP of my own. Another nice asset that Walther gave us on the PDP Pro ACRO that is not on their base models is tritium front and back. So we've got a 3-dot system here. A small tritium on the rear sight with serrations to keep it from glaring. That's really great. And the big dot, forgive me, I don't remember the brand, with tritium, orange with tritium in the middle. At night, those sights appear to be equal size. And yes, you can get a co-witness through that ACRO. You can still see the 3 sights through the ACRO if you want to use or need to use your iron sights in an engagement. So, a great setup in terms of practicality, combining the best of iron sights and red dot technology. The slide has the usual PDP, what Walther calls super terrain serrations, which is a pompous way of saying that they've got really deep serrations front and back. But I mean, it's pretty handy. Bilateral slide lock. If you've watched many of my reviews, you know I'm a big fan of ambi slide locks, and this one has it. Also reversible mag catch. Okay, got a 4.5-inch barrel inside there. Each PDP, actually each full-size PDP, regardless if it's the Pro ACRO or not, comes with 3 metal 18-round magazines. Difference in the Pro models being that there is an aluminum floor plate on those mags rather than the polymer floor plate that the other full-size PDPs have. We're going to talk about that in depth in a moment. By the way, as you can tell, it has not taken much use to scrape the finish off of that aluminum floor plate. It actually doesn't look as nice as the one that's polymer. Anyway, trigger. Trigger's a great thing to talk about on this gun. This one has what they call the performance, is it the performance duty? No, this is the dynamic performance trigger as opposed to the performance duty trigger, which is a curved trigger on the other PDPs. My impression is they feel about the same, although the dynamic performance trigger, as you can see, is a little bit more stylized. We've got a skeletonized safety latch there. Operation is about the same, the flat face trigger. You've got a fairly short take up, a nice crisp break, and a very short reset. Take one more look again at reset because, hey, why not? So despite its size, this is a really nice handling gun. I do not have the biggest hands, and this thing handles really, really sweet for me. I really enjoy shooting it. So another feature that I absolutely don't like on this gun, and honestly I just put it on for this review and it's about to come off after we look at it, is this magwell here. So that is the reason that the literature on the Walther website says that you cannot run the polymer lower magazine because it will not completely seat like that one just did. I'll show you if you don't believe me. The polymer lower mag, it looks like it'll seat, but actually it's a little bit short because of that flared magwell. Folks, if you need a flared magwell to do efficient reloads, you probably ought to get more training, just saying. Anyway, also, I hate the thing because it's bulky and I'm in and out of tight quarters every day with my duty gun. And this would catch on things, literally bang on things. So guess what? I took that sucker off. And now I have a trimmer gun that's more mobile. It's less rattly. That is a metallic piece, that magazine well. So no more rattle. This is just polymer now. One little detail that I would do differently were I building this gun, although it's not a major deal. You can see that there is a rolled aluminum pin there. On my original full-size PDP, I used a tool that wasn't a punch because I needed a range expedient process to change out the back strap, and it actually wallowed a little bit on the pin. If it were polymer, it wouldn't do that. If it were polymer, it wouldn't be shiny, which is really kind of inappropriate for duty use. Speaking of back straps, by the way, you're looking at the narrowest of three. The largest, help if I turn it right side up. The largest is like so. If you know the classic Walther grip shape, that's what you're looking at when you put the largest one on. If you know the HKVP series grip shape, when it's large, it looks like that. Very, almost identical to former Walther modular system, I mean not modular systems, but the former Walther really curvy grip with a hump, or the HKVP series grip. Pretty much identical to that. So if you are a big fan of that, you'd be a big fan of this one. If you haven't noticed, the trigger guard is huge, humongous. So not a problem operating this thing in winter with gloved hands. Pretty nice. I have found that probably because of its weight, this thing is, I believe, 24 ounces unloaded. Bear with me, 27 and a half with an empty mag. It's fairly heavy. It handles extraordinarily well, probably because the gun itself takes up most of the felt recoil. All in all, I have found this to be a flat shooting gun, an accurate gun, and one that I really enjoy shooting now that I've taken the magwell off and made it my own. Incidentally, we'll prove to you now. Here is the polymer floor plate 18 round mag, seats fully now that that magwell is not on there, and also drops freely. So you have more options in terms of replacing magazines if you take that thing off like I did. At the beginning, I told you this gun has a little secret and we're about to reveal it. You only have to take the bottom pin out. I did that off camera. Back strap is off if you want to see what it would look like with the largest one on. There it is. Okay, so popping the largest one off now to show you, to reveal what secrets Walther has hidden in the grip of this thing. I freaked out when I first saw this on my original regular PDP, which is available on the civilian market. So it's not just that this is a police gun. I believe it's on all full-size PDPs. With the back strap off, you can look and see that it says transponder, and there is a little slot in there, and I assume that is German for transponder under there too, but it says transponder there. I got a little bit paranoid about this when I first bought my own PDP a few years ago, or when they first came out a couple years ago. I actually had a friend who's in the oil and gas industry set up that gun for its own x-ray, and we actually x-rayed it. There is no RFID chip in that slot. It is simply, the assumption is, it is equipped with RFID chip capability in case an agency armor or something has that system for checking guns in and out for shifts. Let's talk specifically about the Aimpoint ACRO sight. Your windage adjustment is here on the side, and the manual and tool for all the adjustments does come with the box, as it should. Elevation adjustment right there on top, like you would expect. It takes a 2023, I believe, battery. The compartment is external, easy to turn on and off. I've been running this thing for, like I said, probably 6 or 8 months. It has not gotten dim at all, but of course it's advisable that you always have an extra battery available. There is a bright and dim setting. Up is for bright, down is for dim. Am I right? Yeah, on the side. So it's pretty simple, pretty easy to use. Has it been perfect? Not quite. It's been consistent, extraordinarily consistent, and that is the saving grace of this ACRO as far as I'm concerned in my experience. I'm going to try really hard to show you all on camera, although it's super hard to photograph these, that when you're looking down the sights, the windage is only so adjustable. It is always riding a little bit left of center. If you look at the aligned iron sights, the red dot always rides just slightly left of center. That doesn't really make any difference to me until we get to small targets at about 20-25 yards. You begin to see a difference, and I need to hold a little bit right to make those shots happen. I'm confident that that's nothing to do with my grip, nothing to do with weird eyesight or my technique, because other guns, and I shoot a lot of other guns have not presented that left-leaning problem for me. It's very obvious. I've tried again and again to adjust that windage to the right, and it seems to be maxed out at that position. So with that small caveat, and I'm able to control for it, it is accurate enough to say, you know, a 12 by 18 torso at 25 yards, it's going to be in the boiler plant with that. But if you're shooting at a 6-inch steel plate at 25, that's a different story. I do need to put a little bit of Kentucky windage on that. By the way, I should talk about grip texture because it's kind of cool with these PDPs. If you've never seen one, it's actually raised little pyramids. It's different than pretty much anything else out there. I love that they have the molding right over the magazine release, so you can't accidentally release that with your grip during the firing sequence. The grip, I think, is just perfect. People who like a really rough grip would probably want more texture on the gun. MSRP on this thing is $999, and that includes the pre-installed ACRO. I think it's a bargain of a price for what you get. Holsters, particularly duty holsters, are a little bit hard to locate. You can get level 1 inside or outside waistband holsters on, say, eBay or Etsy from small holster makers pretty easily. Fortunately, Walther does have a resource on their website for holster makers. This one is by Dara, D-A-R-A. It is one of only 2 manufacturers I know that produces a duty holster for PDPs. So we'll take a look at how that fits. It's pretty low profile. I wear this thing every day, again in fairly tight quarters. It works quite well. Your release is a natural press. Right there, you can see the button. So that is as full of story as I can think to give you on the Walther PDP Pro ACRO. If you have any questions, thoughts, considerations, if you're interested in PDPs, I've had 3 in the series. You can see my review of the PDP-F. I will try to post that here. This is my first time putting one of those captions, so we'll see how that goes. I actually sold my other full-size PDP in order to be able to buy this one. I no longer have it, but I put plenty of miles on that with a Hollison Red Dot before selling it. So, any questions, any thoughts, any other guns you'd like to see reviewed, any issues about concealed carry or carrying guns on duty or whatever it is that you're interested in, let me know and we'll talk about it as best I know how. Until next time, this is Eve coming to you from the Tactical Doghouse. Y'all take care.